going on, everybody? Welcome back to more videos. Monday. What's up, Monday? How you doing? So today we're gonna talk about probably the hardest lesson I ever had to learn as a guitar player, and I'm sure some people will possibly relate to this. It's actually a lesson that my dad also played guitar. That he kind of like unknowingly taught me this lesson that I eventually listened to. You know, quit being so hard-headed, and I listened to it. And we're just going to dive in, and I'm just curious if any of you can relate to this, and I'll hit you with a couple different, lessons that I learned. And one thing I'm going to start talking about in these videos is the intro tracks that I'm doing, because this is just a fun little challenge for me. I grabbed this guitar and I turned on a phaser and just kind of messed around with it. It had that Pink Floyd vibe to it, so I just ran with it. But I've been challenging myself to do these little intros for each video. So other than that, here is the lesson. Alright, so what was the lesson? Well, there's been a couple of, lessons that are hard to learn, especially when you're a younger player, kind of like just wanting to play fast and all that stuff. And something I just remember my dad always telling me about was the fact that I would play in these guitar players, these like real shreddy guys. I remember playing in Michelangelo Batillo, or however you pronounce his name, and Yngwie, and all these amazing guys. And his reoccurring statement all the time was, he's like, yeah, but listen to like this guy, like, he'd reference Eddie Van Halen or something. He's like, listen to like the groove in their playing. He's like, the fast stuff is really cool. He said, and it's flashy, but like, where's that like that bluesness, like the bluesiness to it, like that shuffle, that rhythm, that groove. And as a young kid, I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't need to learn. I just wanted to play fast stuff. That was all I really cared about. And I quickly found, and I think this comes from listening to a lot of, just growing up in a household that had a lot of different music. Like my dad played guitar, but he played bluegrass music, and which is very, very, extremely difficult. If you've ever tried to play bluegrass, man, getting that rhythm down is very challenging. But he also, he's the one who gave me all of, like, he gave me the 1984 album. He had a Steppenwolf CD. What else did he have? He had a Black Crowes, Shake Your Moneymaker. What else did he give me? I think he had some ZZ Top. He might have had a Loverboy. Just lots of awesome rock and roll music. So I grew up with that stuff, but then also my mom listened to a lot of like funk music. So if I think back to it, I'm just like, man, there was always this music that was like super heavily groove based. And I just remember him always telling me that. And it took me a long time to, for one, when I started playing guitar, I jumped right in to try to play solos, which was, probably the wrong thing to do, and I didn't even have chords down. So I kind of had to backtrack after I'd been playing for a few months. I had to go back, because I couldn't even play rhythm to try to, like, jam with someone. I just knew how to play, like, the solo to this Creed song, or, the solo to, Kryptonite by Three Door Sign. Like, I knew the solos, I couldn't play rhythm. And it was like then when I started realizing how important rhythm was, and to be able to be okay with, like, you don't have to be playing solos all the time. Sit back and play some rhythm. It's an important lesson and a hard lesson to learn, because we all want to be the lead guitar player, but I just remember him always referencing, like, how a player I would show him, he'd be like, yeah, but they don't have that groove. And then, and as I kind of progressed as a player, at least I feel like my style kind of ventured way more into, like, the groovy stuff, to where now I'm like him. If I listen to something, I'm like, man, that's cool, but, like, where's the groove at? Like, it's not making me move to it, as impressive as it is. So for me, I like that kind of stuff, to where it can be something simple. Like, listen to a lot of, like, ZZ Top, like I said, a lot of Billy Gibbons, all that stuff. It might not be the most complicated riff, but sometimes it's harder to play a simple riff and make it groove than to play a complicated riff and make it complicate, just for the sake of being complicated. Like, making complex stuff, I don't want to say it's easy, because it's not. There's, amazing guitar players who do that, but that's stacking stuff, but can you say a lot with a little? That was kind of like the lesson that I had to learn, because I was really into Yngwie for multiple years, trying to... Sorry, I know I have, like, the phaser on and all that stuff. But it was whenever I learned, I had to learn some Van Halen and stuff like that, I realized, like, oh my god, like, the groove in Eddie's playing is ridiculous. So you really have to sit back, and I know it's hard at first if you're just jumping in, especially if you're a younger player and you just want to play solos and play fast. Don't neglect the rhythm side. That's something I really wish that I had listened to my dad early on, because like I said, sure enough, you'd go to jam with someone and they're over there, all right, we're just going to do like a G shuffle. You know, and I'm over here like, oh, what? G, okay, I know G. Yeah, do the shuffle, you know, and I'm just like, you know, no groove to it at all. Let me turn that phaser off there, though. I don't think we need that on the whole time, do we? So we have that. So I guess my challenge for you is to sit there and try to just groove on something. Come up with a riff. And, you know, challenge yourself to be as minimal as possible. You know, think of like songs like the Immigrant Song or like the not One Tune Song. Is it One Tune Song? I can't remember. It's the Zeppelin song. You know, whatever that song is, I can't think of the name. I mean, it's one note. You know, think about, like I said, Immigrant Song. Yeah, it's literally just an octave. But think about the groove behind it. And like I said, challenge yourself to do less. Do more with less. You know, and there's the cliche saying, less is more. I know, I'm waiting. Someone's going to say it. Well, I said it. I beat you to it. But really, I'm being serious, man. Try to sit there and play one note. Can you make one note groove? You know, and if you can't, then that's something to work on. Like I said, it's a hard lesson. It's a hard thing to learn, because really the only way to learn it is to actually learn music that has that stuff and just play it slow and learn how to get that swing and the rhythm that they're kind of doing it at. So like I said, take one note, you know. But I'm like, bam, 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 bam. You almost hear like that'd be like the bass line, down, 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 down. And over top of it, you know, kind of challenge yourself, add a little bit to it, you know. That's why I would say like funk music is so cool. Not that I can play funk. Like go watch someone like R.J. Ronquillo. You know, amazing. I love listening when he plays funky stuff. He's so good at it. But just if you want to take something away from funk, it is the fact that it's always groove, and the guitar is you know, it's not the main instrument. You know, it's bass and drums is funk. Guitar is just like a layered instrument. So a lot of times the guitar might, if that's the riff. Not that a funk bass player would probably play this bass line. They probably have something like super funky. But over top of it, you know, the guitar might. You know, whatever the line would be. You know, the guitar would be super simple. You know, it'd probably be something like that. Real simple. Nothing really to it other than the fact that it is just adding. You know. That's a little bit more rock, you know, not so funk, but like I said, I think just slowing down was such a hard thing to do as a guitar player, because, like, you know, once you get good at playing stuff fast, you can do it, but then it's like, can you play it slow? And this is where, and another thing I talk about, this is another really difficult lesson, is getting to where you can play slow, fast, and in between. Because, you know, I would find this when students would come in and we'd work on stuff. Some of them could, like, really shred. Like, they were really good guitar players. And then I would have them kind of like, I'm like, okay, well, let's like build up speed to your fast speed. And then they were just like sunk. Because it was like they'd never really worked on going, you know, a gradual increase of speed. You know, it's easy to go from 0 to 60, but can you like slowly bring your way up there? And I always reference the intro to Don't Stop Believing. I don't think I can get it with this guitar. I definitely won't be able to get that. The neck joint stops me. But like, listen to how you know, Neil plays that little intro. It's so good because he's just like, he's slowly getting faster. And like I said, that's a great challenge. Do that, and it gives you a different like level of control over how you're doing stuff. Nuno Betancourt is another really, you know, amazing player who would do that kind of stuff, where it, just rhythmically his stuff is really challenging. His riffs are, you know, very groovy, very swingy. But then he'd be like playing like a solo. He's like rhythmically, it's all over the place. You know, he was not a very kind of like straightforward player. Sometimes he was, but listen to that first Extreme album and listen to some of the stuff. He's like, you know, very. I think he lists Al Di Meola a lot as one of his influences. So I'll probably leave it there. You know, like I said, hardest thing, slowing down, learning how to groove, and just you know, always playing what fits the song. You know, whatever the song is. Like I said, I did a little intro jam there. And the intro, I'll show you real quick, was this. And it was something I played the other night during the live stream, and I just dug it. And I was like, I need to remember that. And then when I turned the phaser on and I grabbed the Dan Electro, I was like, well, it's just missing something. Like I said, you know, over top of that, it wouldn't make sense to be like, you know, some crazy fast pentatonic run. I was like, no, I could kind of hear like that next melody. I'm like, I remember I played. But it was all just kind of like, what is fitting the space the best? You know, like it's easy to overplay. Like I said, with guitar players, we're an annoying breed. We like to fill all the space with notes. So sometimes we got to learn that, you know, that sometimes not playing the notes is the hardest thing to play. So other than that, guys, I'm gonna bounce out here. I'll play you some rhythm. I'll just kind of keep looping that first thing I played, and you can jam over it too. It's really fun. It's based out of A. So other than that, have a good day. Wednesday, new Guitar Day video. It was supposed to come out today. It's coming out Wednesday. See you guys. Woo!